So you're right. It's how we choose the words is something we have to really think about, because that's important. We can't just like, I don't know, come up with words, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why like I don't know if we want to do like something exactly like that video though was like an interesting way of them choosing words for me, or it's like a system of choosing, this idea of like positive, and I don't know, maybe like we do something like sustainability, or this idea, I don't know, flux or something, and pick words that we think have this idea of flux involved in them, maybe, or something like that. Like that space that we're talking about, that like space of transition, that space in between, the connection, and like making that, between like big and like a large change. Yeah. Like maybe if we pick words that are like rooted in flux or transition. And also I do have that dictionary like that they use. So I mean, it could be cool to like use the dictionary that they used in there, and there's like a connection with that, It's a Webster's like pocket dictionary. But yeah, just thinking about that, something very like, so we're pulling from like this, I don't know, I'm thinking like maybe if we do that, we're pulling from like this like this lexicon, or this like super standardized language, because it's entered into the popular canon. And so we know that those words are being used, or like this language is functioning in that like way. So that also would be a thing, if we use that dictionary, it is tied to like the popular canon, and like this idea of like something normalized, and trying to find the words that have flux in them that are in this like normalized canon, maybe could be like a really interesting way to go.
Yeah, you're right. Good, but you have the dictionary. I don't, so I don't know how
well, we would be picking, we said we were going to pick one word, and we're both responding, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I can, and we have to pick a page, like we have to pick a random page then too. So maybe next week when we meet, we can go and pick all the words in the dictionary, like for the first, like, let's say 3 weeks, and then like have that, or should we do it week by week?
Maybe week by week, no?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we could do week by week. Oh, but you need a dictionary. I see what you're saying. Maybe if we pick a random one, I can just take a picture of the dictionary, and does that work? No, it's not as nice. It's like, because like, how can we also, there's a snowstorm happening here right now. It's like, how can we get the same book? I'm gonna triple check the dictionary, and then I'll text you the link.
Okay, that's good.
Write a note for myself. Dictionary. But yeah, I don't know. So that way it'll connect to like those ideas. Yeah. And then we're gonna respond and have some form that we're figuring out still, right?
Yeah. We have to maybe, I have to think more about this, yeah. But so we have like the connection with the word, with the language in general.
Oh, yeah. And do we want to, it's not going to be, so words that are in flux, right? Like words that have like that ability. So let me write that down too.
Words that have in the word flex, or implies a sort of flexibility.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, not the word flux itself, but words that imply flexibility.
Okay.
Yeah, that's important.
Right.
Yeah, so words that imply flexibility. Yeah, that should be interesting. And I'm thinking like, oh, also earlier I put in the chat that the quote from
Yeah.
I got that from.
I don't know what chocks means.
I think it's chocolates.
Oh.
If some, yeah, and I'm going to read it just because I know we're recording. So if some confectioners were willing to let the shape announce the filling, we'd encounter fewer assorted chocolates bitten into and returned to the box. So that's the quote it kind of came from.
The last part, the last part, it kind of confuses me actually. So it's we'd encounter fewer assorted chocks bitten into and return to the box. Yeah, it's puzzling me. Okay.
Yeah, you know, like how the fillings, like when you get like a box of assorted chocolates and yet each one has like different fillings and sometimes like people don't like them. So they'll like bite into one and hate it and they'll put it back. So that's like,
oh, yeah. and if the filling, so that what's inside would speak somehow, would show itself, right? It would be a different story.
Yeah.
Again, in some confectioners, if some were willing to let the shape announce the filling. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful text. It's so complex.
It was the first thing that came up when I typed in confections on Google, actually.
Wow.
Or when I typed in confection quotes, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I relate a lot to, if I understood it well, I relate a lot to this type of, this type of approach. But I'm always kind of thinking in terms of like a designer, as like the object tells you how to use it. The idea of, again, like the object speaks by itself if it's a good object, if it's a good design. And I can relate to that. I'm quite interested actually in this idea of that we are designed by the objects that we design.
Yeah.
Just in a way, it's something around those edges, I guess. And to be aware of that fact is something quite interesting. You know, how you use a specific knife, and why are you more productive using this knife than another knife? This tells you something about the object, that it is done with consideration in mind, with human consideration in mind. I don't know, things like that. So there's something about that, but I think the quote, it just goes more further than that actually. But I have to think that I need more time to think, to kind of grasp the whole thing. But
yeah, I really like that. We are designed by the objects that we design.
Yeah. And isn't it true? I mean, it is, huh?
Yeah, it gets me thinking also about nature and like this idea that nature is something separate, or people say like nature is something separate. But you know, it's just really separate because we say it's separate. Like we separate ourselves from nature. Anthropocene and all that stuff.
Totally right. I think we this would be a lovely discussion between ourselves, because I think we have, this is a really like a common ground between, you know.